No doubt one of my faves. It's time to visit with Cooper Mays, and we've got a lot to talk about, including South Carolina, an awesome stat pulled up by Jimmy Himes on first down efficiency for the Vols. Also, we'll talk about a player that Cooper told you was going to be really, really good like 6 months ago. He's like Nostra offensive lineman or something like that. Nostradamus, something like that. I could do better. I'm still workshopping that, Cooper.
You lost me, man.
You've heard of Nostradamus, haven't you?
No, I've never heard of that.
Oh, he was like the weird guy who back 500 years ago predicted every major event in world history. It's probably not, none of it's true. But anyway, all right, let's roll with Cooper Mays right now. And you look back at that UTSA game and first down efficiency. Our own Jimmy Himes pulled this up, which was awesome. You guys ran 31 first down plays and gained 395 yards or 12.7 yards per game. 5 first down plays of at least 40 yards, including Joe Milton's opening run of 61 yards. Now, everybody says third down so important, and it is. But I've always said first down is the most important down because it helps you get ahead of the chains. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I would say that first and second down are important to not put you in a bad third down. I mean, obviously every down is important. Third down gets hyped up because it's the last one off the field. Obviously, everybody's watching that one, but the reality is, especially in our offense, you've got to have a really, really good first and second down to put you in a position to do what you want to do for the rest of the drive. So I think for us, first down is really big. And it showed in those stats.
Yep. And I want to get to South Carolina and what you think about the Gamecocks. But when Joe rips off that 81-yard play and you guys are bouncing back from a defeat, that's got to really energize your football team.
Yeah, for sure. I think the biggest thing that it was is it set the tone for the game, and I think it allowed us to build on that. I think that I don't know, it felt good, to go out there and start fast because we usually do, and I think we've been kind of sputtering a little bit sometimes this year at times, and just to go out there and strike hot early, it felt really good.
Yeah, it was pretty incredible, and it seems like to me too that I'm enjoying watching Josh Heupel work with a different style of quarterback because just because he's in this offense and he's the next man up, it doesn't mean Joe Milton and Hendon Hooker are the same player.
Right. No, I mean everybody's different at the end of the day, and there's stuff that Joe excels at that Hendon may have struggled at, and then vice versa. Just gotta find a rhythm that makes us go this year and go with consistency. And I think Joe's definitely on the path to doing that.
I love too how if he has a rough streak, he always seems to bounce back. I think that shows a lot about his depth, his leadership.
Well, that too, and I think it shows a lot about our program. I think kind of a mainstay in this program is the motto that we get back up and we go out there and snap and clear. I think that if you look at last year, I mean, there were a lot of moments that the game could have gone one way and we could have let it go out of hand. But there was a lot of times where we showed up after making mistakes and came back out and scored again and flipped it back right to our way. I think Alabama, we mishandled a quarterback running back mesh, the handoff,
Right.
and then we went right back out and scored again. It's just going through adversity and trying to go back and right the wrong.
You guys really, I mean, I was thinking about that too. You're a bounce back team. If you look at the losses last year, Georgia and South Carolina, you guys came back and hammered Missouri and Vanderbilt, respectively. So there is that bounce back mentality of when things don't go wrong, you guys are at your best.
Yeah, you can't blink. I think that's like I said, it's been a thing in our program, a thing that we kind of live by is that, when stuff goes wrong, you can always come back and be better and fix it, or you can just let it go by the wayside and let things get worse. And especially lately here in the last few years, we've done our best to right our wrongs and figure out what we can fix and be better next week.
Well, and part of that bounce back was against South Carolina last year, and in one of the more shocking games I've ever seen. And we won't get into the why and some of those things, but describe your emotions after that South Carolina loss when there was so much to play for.
It was upsetting. It sucked. It even made it worse that Hendo got hurt and
Yeah.
in the fashion that it happened and everything. It was, I don't know. It was just all around a bad night. I can't. I mean, we fought hard, played hard, but just didn't come out our way, and they were the better team that night.
Is that the type of thing that's a motivating factor in the off season? Those type of moments.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you never want to lose, but I mean, at the end of the day, you got to focus on stuff that you can get better at. But yeah, I mean, anytime you see we go by quarters and stuff, and throughout the training cycles, they'll put a team on the screen for a week, and that's the week that we're preparing for. So anytime a loss comes up, a team that you lost to, it's just a little bit of added fuel to the fire. But like I said, it's just the next week, next opponent. We gotta play good on Saturday and execute, and then things will go our way. And hopefully that'll be the way it be.
Do you believe? I mean, you haven't lost that many games under Josh Heupel, but even going back to high school, is there something to be said for revenge games? I mean, fans want to say, yeah, they're going to get back, they're going to be extra motivated and that sort of thing, but is that really a factor at all?
Yeah, I'm sure everybody looks at different things to fuel them, and I'm sure a lot of people use that as fuel. Everybody's got their own little things and own little situations going on. So yeah, I mean, like I said, nobody likes losing, especially to somebody like this, in your conference and everything. So it's just another thing to look forward to.
He is the one, the only Cooper Mays, and the Vol Report with Cooper is brought to you by City Heating and Air Conditioning. That's cityheatandair.com. We certainly appreciate Cooper's time, and we appreciate City Heating and Air Conditioning. And with 50 years in the Knoxville area, they have integrity. So some of these fly-by-night HVAC companies might say, put a whole new $10,000 unit in there. That may not necessarily be the case. City Heating and Air Conditioning, cityheatandair.com. Joe Milton, we mentioned the 81-yard run. And the thing that I've got a lot of respect for Joe for is the times that every quarterback has a couple of cold streaks. You're not going to go 28 for 28 every week, but he always rights the ship and gets back on point. I think that's a real strong suit of his.
Yeah, and it's got to be. Everybody's gonna have bad plays. Everybody's gonna have stuff that they mess up on. Nobody's perfect out there. So just finding a way to right your wrongs and go out there the next play and play better than you did the play before. I think he's done a better job of that every week, getting better and better, and then he'll continue to get better, and we'll get better as an offense because of it too, and everything will be very nice.
Very nice. Let me ask you, where does he rank among the team as just the favorite dude, the guy that is the most likable?
The favorite dude.
The favorite dude. I might get some shirts printed up like that. This could take off.
The favorite dude, man. I that's a great question, man. I'm sure very well close to the top. Yeah, for sure. What is it, 125? Is that how much on our team?
I guess with walk-ons, yeah. I don't think walk-ons are going to make the favorite dude list.
Hey, everybody has their own. Everybody has their own things that they like.
But every time I hear from somebody that talks about him, he's just he seems like every bit the leader and the person that you guys would want at that position. Is that fair?
Yeah, I think he's taken the reins of it. I've said for a while now that I think Joe likes being in the spot. I think he enjoys it, and I think he's settled in with it. So as long as you're comfortable and you know your role, that breeds a pretty good outcome.
Well, he's been around so long, and he's been through adversity, whether it's losing the starting job to Hendon or whether it's having to transfer. And then I saw that knee and the knee get tweaked right before halftime. I got so scared. What went through your mind for a second?
Yeah, I mean, the initial tackle didn't look great, I didn't think, but then he, like, sprung up and started jumping around or something, I don't know. So I was I think everybody's pretty relieved. So I think it looked pretty good. It didn't look great going down, but the jump up and everything looked pretty spectacular. So,
Yeah.
I think it's a good outcome.
It was almost like he wanted everybody to know, "I am just fine. I'm just fine right now." So, South Carolina, you've seen, tape on them. How were they similar and or different than they were last year?
So they've got a new starting linebacker. I think they've got one starter who's returning, another one who's coming back or who's filling in a position. Um, a lot of the interior guys are the same. The D tackles. One got drafted last year, Zach Pickens. He went to the Bears, I think. D line looks solid. The interior of their D line is probably their strength that I would see. Back end looks good. They're just a team that plays really hard and they play well within their rules. And anytime you have a team that plays really hard, that's going to give you a really really good shot. In any league of football. So it's going to be a great challenge for us. I'm really looking forward to it.
You don't have to mention anybody, but in a typical season, how many teams do you see on tape and you're like, "Man, they're not playing their hardest?"
Ah, man, you said how many
Yeah, just
teams?
say out of 10 or out of a season with 12 games. I mean, how often do you say that team's not really in it on tape?
Probably not. I don't know. It's more like it's everybody comes out the first few plays playing hard. You know what I'm saying? It's not like somebody just goes out there and just gives terrible effort. Like I'm not sitting here saying that, but when you have teams that go all four quarters and you see somebody playing hard all game, it's something that kind of opens your eyes a little bit and you're like, okay, here we go. But you see a lot of teams, the majority I would say of teams, a lot of when games don't go their way later on in the game, it just doesn't look the same. But when you got a guy that can play all four quarters, no matter the situation, play hard, that's a problem.
I believe you guys are one of those teams. And I'll go back to last year and the two losses. I thought you guys continued to fight and play hard into the fourth quarter. Would you agree? And how much pride do you take in that?
I take tremendous amounts of pride in that, but I would agree. Yeah, I would agree. Our problems 99 or whatever percent of the time is not because of effort. You know what I'm saying? It's people don't realize, I don't think, how small and slim the margins are for losing in D1 SEC football, especially. I mean, everybody's talented and everybody usually is playing pretty decently hard. So I mean, it's not like people are going out there trying to get beat. It's just they lack the proper execution, and that's what leads to them getting beat. So that's
One other thing on that Joe Milton run. So I know you're on the interior, but for the guys on the edge, when they've got a defensive end who has to commit on an option run to him or the pitch, can that make them tentative at times, which would make them easier to block?
are you talking about the defenders? I'm
Yeah,
guessing,
the
like
defensive,
trying to not know. Oh, you're saying if you have a running
right?
quarterback.
Exactly. Yeah, I made that way too complicated, Coop.
Yeah, I mean, when there's a run threat, it's always going to stop somebody's eyes, but usually the thing is, if you're reading them, you're not blocking them. You know what I'm saying? So,
It's true.
but other than that, yeah, I mean, it's going to change the way the defense plays if your quarterback can run,
Yeah.
no doubt.
I just figured something out. Dylan Sampson can run.
Yes, yeah, he can very fastly as well.
I mean, you called him first. It was like second week of spring practice. You're like, he's going to be a player. We already saw glimpses of that last year, but Saturday he really put on a show. He has a chance to be special.
Yeah, I think he is special. I think he's already pretty special. I don't know how many touchdowns do you have?
3, I believe.
Current like
Oh
total?
no, in the game.
Oh, just thinking, yeah, like so. What is it? 7 now?
That sounds about right. I would have to look it up, but yes, I think it's 7.
I mean, it's pretty wild, man.
Pretty good start. A young guy like that. What did you see out of him? Not necessarily on the field, but through his work ethic and what he did off the field. That you're like, he's in here to succeed, not just get by.
Well, I mean, the saying of how you do anything is how you do everything. It always, it rings true. So, anything you see Dylan Sampson doing, it's going to be with the proper intent and, the proper attitude required. So that basically speaks for itself right there.
You've played defense way back in the day. How difficult is that guy to bring down in the open field if you're one-on-one? And I'm going to talk about your lighter days too, not when you were 300, but even when you're a little bit lighter. How difficult is that guy to bring down?
Yeah, I mean, thankfully, I was playing in Knoxville, Tennessee, where they didn't have many Dylan Sampsons. You know what I'm saying? I played against T. Hodge. T. Hodge came to Tennessee. Who else? I mean, I don't know how many D1 running backs played against him, but none like Dylan Sampson. I don't think.
Yeah, we haven't had many from my alma mater at Powell High School, but still working on that.
Yeah,
he is. He is Cooper. Yeah, I'd say if they get a Dylan Sampson, I would know so by like 8th grade.
Yeah, I don't think he would be any surprise.
No, he is Cooper Mays. The Vol Report with Cooper is brought to you by City Heating and Air Conditioning. Again, cityheatandair.com. And we certainly appreciate them. Appreciate Cooper more than you know, Coop, about being a part of the weekly podcast. And look forward to the rest of the season and your eventual play. And I'll tell you what, man, it's a football team that I think is going to be extra motivated with South Carolina. And I feel like I don't make predictions because I'm terrible at it, but I feel like you guys are in good shape this week. So, Coop, as always, we appreciate you, my man.
Appreciate you, brother.
He is Cooper Mays. I'm Dave Hooker. This has been a presentation of Off the Hook Sports.